Healing Guides, Part 13. On one of these horribly humid and hot days, or for other people, it's heavily raining. I have to see a mixture of that every few hours within a day, to be honest. I want to remind you that whatever pain that you're facing, whatever mental sort of torture that you're facing, whatever heartache that you're facing, whatever loss, whatever grief, that you have the strength from God Almighty to come up with a way out of that situation. It doesn't mean you're going to be completely free of crying on some days and feeling some part of that pain, because pain does get suppressed into the heart. When you heal, it doesn't really mean it went away. It just means that it kind of stays tucked in, sort of like the lowest part of your heart. And it just kind of leaves you alone. It doesn't control you, limit you, nor does it destroy you, nor does it push you to unhealthy behavior, because that's the way you chose to cope with it. And we all develop unhealthy behaviors. Some could just be immoral or evil for some people, while others are just unhealthy in the sense of not eating, not sleeping, not giving yourself time to rejuvenate your mind by giving yourself a break every now and then, especially if you're dealing with a lot of intrusive thoughts. I personally deal with extreme intrusive thoughts and images because I'm constantly being exposed to trauma, to be honest. My traumas are not something of the past only. Because of the fact that I deal with a lot of spiritual things in this physical world, where humans, I see their demons manifesting, these strangers, their demons just come out of them and act crazy in front of me every now and then. And a lot of people all over the world didn't really see that before, but now they're starting to see that more. It's kind of like all over the web now. So I'm kind of happy that things I've been dealing with all these years by myself, God is kind of finally showing it to others on some level, though there's really small percentage. So that, one day when I maybe share what I saw all those years, people are not going to be like, I don't know what you're talking about. They've already kind of understand it. They've already kind of understood it on their level. So since we are getting to the end of the world, you are going to see a lot of weird behaviors coming out of crazy people. People, just when you look at them, they just don't look decent or healthy. A lot of them have that, mental health problems. Really is just caused by demonic influence. Either demons are oppressing them or they're actually possessing them, but usually they're possessing them. And some people, they look like the sort of nice, sort of quiet person. They look professional, etc. Maybe you go to a job or whatever, right? That's someone who's trying to control himself, But if you put him in a situation where you challenge his morality, you challenge the situation, or maybe he's bullying others in that sort of corporate way they bully employees, and now you challenge them, you go to HR, then you're going to see the demons manifesting out of them. They become a crazy person too. They just might be more manipulative, more quieter in their energy. They're not going to have a fit of rage or anything, but they're going to be manifesting out of people. So if you're sometimes seeing strangers harassing you for no reason, as in they don't even know you, not that there's ever a reason to harass anyone, or you just deal with harassment overall in certain specific environments you go to, like a job, do understand that sometimes it's demonic, and you can't just be like, I'm going to ignore it and just, kind of take the legal way to just protect myself. It could cause a lot of psychological trauma to you, so you do have to heal yourself on a daily basis rather than a one-time healing adventure you go on for something traumatic that happened one time in your life, like a car accident. If you're constantly exposed to harassment, if you're constantly exposed to negative behavior, disrespectful behavior, even if you're doing that yourself, you're also traumatizing your own brain. I'm sure these evil people have a lot of intrusive images and thoughts of what they do as well all day, especially since they have a conscience like us. And their conscience is always trying to correct them. It's always trying to remind them you did wrong. So it will definitely repeat it over and over again to their mind. All the horrible things they just said, they just did. They'll get a lot of intrusive thoughts saying things like hell, 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 hell. And that's because demons do want to remind you that you're going to hell as a way to actually torture you. It's not that they're just thinking, oh, I'm happy you're going to go to hell. I'm going to not say that to you. No, they don't care. They would like to use that to further your fear, to further your anxiety. They just want those bad emotions in your system: fear, anxiety, worry, depression. So just know God is not saying that to you. Hell, hell, hell. If you ever get those crazy thoughts, oh, you're going to go to hell. Sometimes you might say something disrespectful to God because you're angry or whatever, and you just get those thoughts. You're going to go to hell. You're going to go to hell. That's not God. God would make you feel shame and bad and um, sort of like, hey, come back. It's a gentle, wisdom he sends to you in your gut. But thoughts, voices, fear, anxiety only comes from demonic. Just because what that at that moment you're hearing somehow seems positive, right? Like, hey, you're gonna go to hell because you did bad, doesn't mean God is sending that wisdom to you. Demons are just using that to scare the hell out of you so you don't actually repent. And that's how you know it's from demons, because you don't actually want to repent and say sorry, God, when you know that's not how you repent anyway. You don't just say sorry to him. But you're not gonna actually wanna, seek forgiveness from God when you hear that stuff in your head. You're gonna go to hell, you're gonna go to hell. It actually angers you even more. There you go. That's how you know it's from demonic. So I try to always put a little bit of spiritual wisdom into the things that a lot of you are dealing with, or many human beings are dealing with, in my desire to help inspire you to heal yourself on a daily basis. I can't really take the spiritual stuff out of it because they're causing it. The demonic is causing all these bad things in the world, such as all the problems you have in this world. And some things obviously are just human nature, they're just life. But there you go, you're going to develop some sort of psychological problem from it, some sort of trauma after that normal, natural situation in life where you just went through a life difficulty. They're always going to take advantage of every situation. They're always going to harass you in situations that you would think they have no business with. You think they're just all about making people evil. No, they just want to torture you. They just want you to kill yourself. One of the best examples of what demons really want is people who struggle with thoughts of wanting to kill themselves or suicide. Demons want you to kill yourself. You know, all these evil humans who are alive today that they're using to commit very high level crimes, yes, they're using them. Yes, they kind of need them on some level to be here so they can do all those horrible, immoral things. But at the same time, they want to kill those individuals too. The demon wants this individual to die too. A lot of them is actually just God protecting them from death that moment. He just didn't put it in their destiny to die that day, etc. God is merciful. It doesn't mean he loves these human beings who are doing evil. It just means he's merciful to them. Despite all the evil they do, he still gave everyone that equality in that he's their Lord either way. You still have the access to go back to him. Just because you're immoral and crazy and a murderer doesn't mean God, is not going to be merciful to you, because he's giving you a chance to live sometimes longer. Many times you could have died, but you didn't. Because you get me, the longer you live, the more he's giving you a chance to come back. So only he knows how and why every individual, what I mean, why they're living up to a certain age. We're not going to say this is why someone lived ABC, but a lot of the reasons why sometimes people just don't die right away during the times you think they should, right? They're committing horrible sins. Maybe they're doing so many heavy drugs and you would think they should overdose. It just doesn't make sense to you, because there's just a lot of things God naturally designed, to give these people a chance, to give these humans a chance. You'll hear many of them who left that type of bad lifestyle, how they say things like, oh, I did this, I went to the hospital, etc., I almost died, blah, blah. And then they tell you a certain time someone might have reminded them of God, or etc., and they just changed. Like that, if they died earlier, you would agree they wouldn't have reached that moment to have changed, right? So God is always being merciful. It doesn't mean he's not going to punish these people for all the horrible things they did. He will. He's just. But you see what I mean? He still wants also them to come back. Oh, he wants them to also be on the right path. So in that mercy that God also gave you, who's not that crazy evil person, or maybe you're just a little bit close to that, whichever type of human you are, or you're this wonderful person listening to me right now, I just want to remind you that whatever you're dealing with right now, you're stronger than that, because you're stronger than demons, and demons are causing 99.9% of all the problems you have, especially the mental stuff. I already said this before, but there is no such thing as mental illness. Demons are causing all the personality disorders. They're causing all the attachment disorders. People who cannot have a healthy romantic relationship with others. They keep breaking it off. They just can't commit. There's something wrong with them always. Those are demons using them to ruin that aspect of their life. Okay, and people who are just dealing with a lot of depression, especially depression for no reason. Nothing bad is happening in your life. There's just depression coming over you. And in today's world, right, people are dealing with that a lot. And the devil, of course, will use other things that are natural to push it even more. Like what COVID is doing to many people, taking away their homes, their jobs, taking away their social life. Someone could just develop an illness, or you're just getting close to old age. Even those sort of situations that could cause depression, right? Just logical situations, he'll use it even more. So just think of it that way. You're already dealing with typical daily life problems that cause depression, just naturally, right? But then on top of that, demons are also sending you depression. That's just another extra emotion for no reason. So that means it's going to manifest in you having a higher percentage of depression that you personally would agree you probably can't heal yourself. Yes, you can. You can stop it, you can fight with it, you can heal it. And as I record more healing guides, this is just supposed to be a short reminder. I will, do my best to share ideas and solutions on how you can heal yourself. So the goal is to get you to heal yourself. I don't even want you to waste your time going to a therapist. You don't have to do that. That could just be for your own little thing if you want that. But human beings are in charge of themselves. We're all these individuals in a species that are all strong enough to take care of ourselves. We don't need others. So you can heal yourself. You are stronger than whatever is attacking you. You just need a plan. You just need to create certain plans. Plan number one being how you choose to think, how you choose to feel. You don't let these depressive thoughts, these negative thoughts, these sort of emotions that come to you, trying to make you feel a certain way. You don't let that control you. You don't let them constantly ruminate on your mind. I get a lot of intrusive thoughts, images, as well as narrations, like narration, like a dialogue, something that just won't shut up, you know? As Muslims, we know what that is. It's just demons whispering to our mind. But some people deal with that a little more than others. Whatever power God gives the demon is whatever he'll do. So I don't just deal with intrusive thoughts as in like once in a while, but it's literally nonstop, right? So I have to constantly choose to remind myself of certain things I believe in, right? Like I always personally tell myself when something's extreme, when for no reason I just have this anxiety coming over my body, this depression coming over my body, I actually tell myself that moment, you're being attacked right now. You're under demonic attack right now. I have to remind myself that I'm under attack. Otherwise, the human natural response is to just fight with it. You get me? Fight with it just on a sort of natural basis. You're not going to get rid of it by just trying to fight with the thoughts, by trying to ignore them, because they actually get worse when you ignore them. So by telling myself I'm under demonic attack, right, demons are attacking my mind, what that then does is I remember the things I taught myself to do in those situations. And I deal with, if I had to pick, at least 5,000 different types of attacks that these demons do. I just can't explain what it is. But the thoughts have different goals, different agendas. Ones want to inflict fear, ones want to inflict anxiety, ones want to inflict depression, ones want to inflict suicide, ones want to inflict giving up on God himself, leaving religion. Once want to inflict despair as to whatever you're trying to do worldly, that, oh, you're never going to achieve it. Once just try to make you feel lonely for no reason. Once try to make you feel just sad over things of the past, even if they got resolved. You know what I mean? It's like just endless ways that demons will project depression, anxiety, fear, worry, doubt, loneliness, isolation, whatever. The emotions are just endless because it's not just anxiety as in, oh, just anxiety. They use like 4, 5, 7,000 different ways to cause you anxiety, right? In the world, because they lost that connection with God, they just don't know how to deal with it anymore. And all they do is say, I have mental health problems. No, you don't. You have demons attacking your mind, causing you all those mental situations. Therefore, you're going to have to acknowledge that at some point. Otherwise, you can't just keep saying, I'm just going to put drugs into my body. How's that going to affect your brain? And those things are man-made. And they are hurting the body. Those things are evil. And I hope none of you ever take medication. You need God to solve your problems. You need healing, therapy, counseling. You need to talk. You need to actually get resolutions to whatever problems you're facing. You need to have sort of routines you do throughout your week where you're taking certain times out. You talk to yourself, sit down with yourself and counsel yourself. Don't do it in front of people, obviously, but just in your own room in a private space, talk out loud about what's bothering you. Because sometimes you're like, why am I angry? Wait, why did anger just come over me? Oh, like that. And you'll actually figure it out and then you'll just let it go. Well, if you don't ever talk out loud like that and question yourself, counsel yourself, then what's going to happen is the anger, you're just going to fight with it. You're just going to ignore it. Okay, it gets suppressed. And now it comes back later as you committing a sin or some bad behavior or some sort of self-sabotaging behavior. You'll just eat for no reason. Wait, I'm not hungry though. I just ate. Why am I eating? See, like that. You're not going to understand why you're doing what you're doing unless you first go back to the time the emotions came to you and you're like, wait, why am I feeling this way? Or why is it coming over me? You're not feeling that way, obviously. They projected it to you. The brain just thinks it's feeling that way because it's coming over you, like a cloud. So what I'm saying is, unless you develop that self-awareness where you actually know when you're under attack, when heavy emotions, bad thoughts are coming over you, then exactly you're not going to be able to stop and figure out which one this one is, what type of attack this one is, and what the solution is. Because you're not even self-aware, right? So develop self-awareness and just know that you can always, right? I don't want you to think you should just pray and go to God and that's it. And, just be self-aware and try to talk to, it's not just those things. There's a lot of other great ideas. But just develop that mental belief that this is not going to be the life that you're going to have. Whatever sort of low point you're in right now, right? You're homeless, you're unemployed. Maybe you want a relationship, but you don't have one. Maybe you want friends, but you don't have them. Maybe you're just failing in other ways in your life. Or you're just sort of feeling like you want something, but you don't have it. You have to make that firm, decision that this is not how you're going to continue to be. Sometimes God himself is limiting you. He himself is not going to let you have something. Okay, but everything's not demonic and everything's not just life only. Sometimes God himself is testing you. God himself is preventing you from things like marriage. So you're going to have to, tell yourself, despite the cause of those things, despite whatever is causing you to have a lack in your life in a certain area or many areas, you have to choose that this is temporary for you. I see these possessed humans every day acting crazy, acting weird, staring, stalking. But I tell myself this is going to end. I'm not going to keep having this problem with complete strangers every day. I'm not going to keep seeing crazy people every day. Their demons harassing me every day because they're affected by the sort of light that I carry or whatever God is giving these demons, whatever reason is that he's giving them the power to harass me. I don't care. I mean, I know the reason, but I don't care because my focus is reminding myself that this is gonna end. I am gonna get what I want. I am gonna create the life I want. I am gonna have the people that I want in my life. I am gonna become the person I wanna be. This is nothing. This is temporary. Okay, that's a thinking, correct? Sort of mentality that will keep you going. But it's not enough, right? When you see something bad, it's gonna irritate you. Second idea or solution is to focus, right? That's actually why demons attack the human mind so much. And people think they have all these mental health problems from, random reasons instead of something demonic. So the solution to that is focus, because actually the reason demons harass the human race, first reason is to distract the person. If you're distracted to all the problems in your head, right, all the bad thoughts, all the psychological problems, whatever, as well as the life problems you have, now you're distracted from whatever you'd normally be doing if those things were not there, right? If God took away all the problems right now from your mind as well as your life, exactly what would you be doing with your time? That's what I want you to focus on. And that's what I do every day. I'm, constantly trying to go after my dreams. That's kind of what it means. What you do with your time really would be aspiring after your dreams. And then certain times in your day, obviously, you just be doing daily activities in your daily routine, right? Like reading a book, going out to a nice park, or whatever sort of hobbies or sports you like. Don't just stay home all the time. There's days you need to relax, days that you can't get out, you're too angry, you're too depressed. Okay, but create a routine. Do the things that you would have done if you had all the energy in the world, because that's going to distract you. I'm not saying that because that's a nice advice we all hear, but because that's distraction from sort of the things you're lacking, whatever you don't have, distraction from the weird behaviors and harassment and abuse or whatever you've somehow been seeing lately, maybe at a job or school or whatever. And of course, if you're being harassed, I want you to take legal action. If you ever have to deal with HR, they're obviously going to retaliate. So just document everything, write everything down. Don't ever be alone with them. Make sure that you're documenting everything, and then give them an ultimatum. Tell them exactly what you need. I need ABC behaviors and individuals to leave me alone. I need to be put in this type of location, like a certain cubicle, so that I'm safer. That way you can actually prove it even more to the courts that, right, they didn't want to help you with those things. Because since you never said that as an ultimatum, they can just say they didn't do those things for you, not because they're bad, because maybe they just didn't think about it, or you didn't give them an option. Like that, they're good at lying. They're good at gaslighting. So put them in that awkward place. Put them in that bad place. Expose them. Don't just be like, I'm being harassed. Help me. Because then they get to determine what to do. They'll just be like, wait, talk to that person. Have a nice day. You're going to be like, what did you do? What's going to happen from now on? That's confidential. So you got to give ultimatums. And I'll talk about more on how to deal with HR and stuff in another recording. But give them ultimatums, and they're not going to do it, obviously, because they're evil. Now that even proves it more in court that they didn't want to help you, because when they go to court, they'll always say, yes, they did. They'll always be like, I did try to help this person, blah, blah, blah. But you're giving evidence, and you're gathering evidence that they don't want to help you. You get me? Because you gave ultimatums of what a logical human being would have done for you if they wanted to help you. Be specific. Maybe you want to be placed in a certain department or location or seat, or etc. Okay, and then go to court. Go to EEOC. They're the ones that deal with that stuff, and sue them. Even if they're like, let's reconcile. Don't let them, because that's how they learn. You gotta take something from them. These are evil human beings. They're not normal people. Why would you do that with them? So sue them, and then get your job back. That's what you want the court or the judge to help you with. Say, I want my job back, because you don't want to go around to other jobs and other jobs and other jobs where you're gonna face similar situations anyway. Wherever you go, those bullies, those envious, individuals who got a job through, being a favorite to someone because they sucked up to that person, they're always going to be there. And if you're a hardworking person, right, of course you're going to be a threat to them. So there's smart ways to deal with those bullies. But always remember to take legal action because nothing else really stops them. You know, it's not a person in the street, you're like, leave me alone, and they leave you alone. Now, these individuals who usually come to the same environment as you, like a family, neighbors, workers, that's why they don't leave people alone. That's why it takes months and years. Because they see you again and again and again, and their demons are what are saying, I don't want to leave you alone. You get me? It doesn't make sense that the human doesn't want to leave you alone. You're right. Because exactly, the human wouldn't go that far, especially when they have something to lose, like their job. So that's why I'm saying we have to sometimes talk about spiritual things because it explains these weird situations and behaviors that don't make sense based on human, nature. It's the demons in those humans using them. They have to use them. And the human could be thinking, they don't want to go this far and ruin their life, but it doesn't matter. This thing controls them now. Obviously, they have to consent to it, so don't think like they're innocent or something and the demon took over them. No. They have to always agree and consent. I'm just saying the demon will always make them feel like they're not human, like nothing bad will happen to them. Hey, nothing's gonna happen to you. I'll protect you. Don't worry. I'll get that person fired. You know what? I'll even accuse him of a crime and put him in jail. You just, keep doing what I tell you like that. It'll manipulate this human. It'll give them an ego boost. So if you're dealing with bullies, you gotta always go to court. You gotta take legal. Because that's what they're really scared of. Sorry, this kind of went out too long as well. I was gonna make this super short, but I hope that benefited you. Take care of yourself.